The Twin Flames, a Fairy Star Fables novel, starting with Chapter 1. Chapter 1. Searching. She sat perched on a high branch in a tree, overlooking the hustle and bustle below her. She knew no one could see her, not only because of the heavy leaf cover, but because humans were lazy. They very seldom looked up when they walked. They usually only looked at their feet, a weird manifestation of human insecurity. People just don't trust anything, not even their own feet. She laughed a little, thinking about how sad the little things were. If only they knew how much potential they had, they might live as happily and as long as the Fae did. None of this mattered, though. She had to find the objects of her searching. She needed to find them. It was the most important part. She searched with her eyes and her mind, sensing feeling from people as she focused on them one by one. From this one she felt sadness. Something was troubling him. Then she skipped to the next, and she felt smugness, like no one was good enough for her. She felt one that just didn't want to be there, and one that was very excited to see someone. Then a feeling struck her. She could feel the heat from it all the way up in the tree where she was sitting. It was pure hate. It was strong. I can work with this, I think, she thought to herself, and focused on the target. Her target was a girl, and from all the way up in the tree she seemed to be pleasant looking. Maybe even better than most. Sandy brown, shoulder-length hair, with copper highlights from a summer of sunny days that was coming to an end. The girl was a little bit above average height, and thin, but not frail looking. She could only see the side of the girl's face from her vantage point in the tree, but the hateful feeling that was coming from her radiated in huge pulses. It wasn't just random hate, though. It was definitely directed at something. Someone. She turned her focus from the brown-haired girl to the object of this searing hate. He was lounging with a circle of his friends on a concrete block that was used as a bench just to the right of the school entrance. He was very handsome, groomed, and poised. He had dark hair, almost black, and a sharp, manly, chiseled look to his face, although he still had the look of a child as well. His blue eyes were searching his fellow students as they passed, entering the school. He was indifferent to all of them, showing no emotion one way or the other until he spotted the brown-haired girl walking into the school, and his pulse began to speed. He swallowed hard and stood up. His emotions were jumbled, and from her tree she couldn't focus on any certain one, but there was definitely emotion where this girl was concerned, which was different from how he felt towards the other students. That was the downside to her empathic powers. She couldn't read minds. She could only sense emotions, feelings, and general changes in the body which were brought on by these feelings. Sometimes, if she locked eyes with someone, she could see certain memories. This was called dream stealing, and it required a lot of trust, so it very seldom happened. She did wish she could read minds from time to time, but she couldn't complain. Her empathic powers did give her an edge, and she was grateful for that. "Watch this," he whispered to one of his friends as he focused on the brown-haired girl. She felt a thrill in him as he readied himself and yelled at her, total disdain dripping from every word. "Hey, nightmare, wake up drooling any time lately?" The girl in the tree watched the brown-haired girl continue walking, the cloud of hate pulsing angry red and purple colors, as she tried her best to ignore him. She didn't understand why such a childish comment could bring out such a reaction in the girl, and although her detestation grew stronger, she didn't react in any way to his jibes. The boy on the bench waited for a reaction with a smirk as the brown-haired girl walked past him, and he broke into laughter with his friends as the girl entered the building. As the brown-haired girl walked into the school and out of view of the girl in the tree, she focused her empathy powers on the boy. She could feel mixed emotions coming from him. They were all tied up. Satisfaction, anger, and something else, something forced deep down inside of him. She closed her eyes and tried to dig up that feeling, but it was so deep. It was so jumbled, but it was strong, and she knew right then. She knew without a doubt. "I found them," she said under her breath. Her mind raced at the challenge. She knew it wouldn't be easy, but she was never one to shrink away from something just because it seemed difficult. On the contrary, she seemed to be drawn to hardships, as though she fed off the stress. That was the reason she was top in her class. That was the reason her parents were so proud of her, and why she became one of the brightest and most promising fairies in all the Fae. "You'll do great things, Vesta," she remembered her guide Willow telling her as she sent her forth to begin her final challenge. After weeks of searching, she had finally found them. A swell of satisfaction filled her inside, and her mind began to race quickly, planning her first step. She wondered how she would do it. What kind of role did she want to play in their lives in order to get her desired outcome? Should she make contact or not? Should she remain invisible to them, working her magic from outside of their lives? Or should she jump in with both feet and risk exposing herself to the humans? Vesta closed her eyes and focused on both sets of feelings from these two people she had chosen. From the brown-haired girl, she still felt hate, but also the feeling of solitude and emptiness. And from him, a sense of shame, fear, anger, but also the same emptiness. Their hearts were so lonely, they didn't even realize. They both had strong personalities, and she could tell when she focused that standing outside their lives and trying to accomplish her goal wouldn't work. She had to be in it, get down and dirty to get this done. There was something else, though. When she absorbed their feelings into her mind, she wanted to know them. She almost felt drawn to them, like a mad curiosity that she couldn't control. So she had decided how to do it, and these were the two she would focus on to accomplish her task. This would finally complete her fairy training so that she could join the Fae as a full-fledged and fully trained fairy.